Dogs can be pretty weird sometimes. Ever wondered why your dog does things like sniffing your private parts, eating grass, or obsessively licking their paws? In this video, I'll break down these peculiar behaviors, starting with one that's probably a bit too familiar. Why do dogs love to shred and eat paper? Paper seems to have some kind of magical allure for dogs. If you've ever found shredded tissues, napkins, or toilet paper all over your house, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just random destruction. There's a reason behind the chaos. If you've used that tissue to wipe your mouth, hands, or nose, it's now soaked in fascinating scents. To your dog's super sniffer, that tissue smells like a story waiting to be explored and destroyed. Shredding paper is just plain fun. The texture, the satisfying sound when it tears, and the ease of ripping it to shreds make it the perfect boredom buster for your dog. It's like their version of bubble wrap, impossible to resist. But what if your dog not only rips it, but eats it? That's when you should pay closer attention. If your dog has a habit of eating non-food items like paper, it could be a sign of pica, a disorder where dogs crave and consume non-edible objects. If you suspect this, talk to your vet. Why do dogs chew on the leash? Leash chewing is a super common behavior, especially in energetic dogs. Most of the time, it's just about blowing off some steam. Think about it. The walk is the highlight of their day, and all that excitement can turn their leash into a moving target that's just begging to be chewed. But it's not always just for fun. Sometimes it's a sign of boredom or that the walk isn't stimulating enough. In other cases, it's caused by stress or frustration. Loud noises, crowded streets, or overstimulation can trigger the need to chew as a coping mechanism. How to fix it? Keep your dog mentally engaged with games and basic commands during the walk. Start the walk on a calm note. Before you leave, make sure your dog is relaxed to avoid an explosion of pent-up energy. Why do dogs sniff people's private parts? It might feel like your dog is being a little too bold, but trust me, it's just science at work. When dogs sniff someone's crotch, they're not being cheeky, they're gathering information. This instinct comes from their ability to detect apocrine glands, which are concentrated in areas like the armpits and, you guessed it, the groin. Apocrine glands produce a thick, lipid-rich sweat that carries all sorts of fascinating chemical signals. Unlike eccrine glands, which regulate body temperature with odorless sweat, apocrine glands emit a unique scent cocktail that dogs can't resist. And since most of us use deodorant on our armpits, the groin area becomes the most authentic scent source for your dog to gather intel. Through that simple sniff, your dog can pick up on your mood, hormonal changes, and even detect potential health issues. It's like they're running a full diagnostic scan with just one sniff. Now we're about to dive into another quirky behavior. You know, one of those that makes you go, wait, why do they even do that? Why do dogs hump people's legs? It might feel like your dog is having an identity crisis when they suddenly start humping your leg, but don't worry, it's not a dominance move or some rebellious act. In fact, the old idea that dogs hump to show dominance is outdated and pretty much debunked. Most of the time, this behavior is caused by things like stress, excitement, or even just plain old boredom. Some dogs hump because they're overstimulated and don't know how to channel those big emotions. It's their awkward way of saying, hey, pay attention to me. Unneutered dogs? Sure, hormones can play a role, but it's not the main reason in every case. If your dog does this often, try to figure out what's behind it. Sometimes more exercise, interactive tools, and consistent training can help redirect that energy. Oh, and one more thing. Don't punish or laugh at them. That will only confuse them. Instead, calmly ignore the behavior and gently redirect their focus to something else. Now, let's move on to another leg-related behavior. Don't worry, this one's way more chill and kinda sweet. Why does your dog rest their head on your leg? When your dog rests their head on your leg, it's more than just finding a comfy spot. This sweet gesture is their way of saying, hey, I trust you. You make me feel safe. Dogs are naturally social creatures, and they crave emotional closeness. When your dog places their head on you, it's a sign that you're their safe haven. For some dogs, it's also a way of seeking comfort after an overstimulating day. For others, it might have a protective element, staying close to you while keeping an eye on their surroundings. What should you do when your dog does this? Simple. Show them some love back. Give them a gentle head rub and offer soothing words. You don't need to do much. Just being there is enough to make them feel secure. This small moment strengthens the bond you share and makes your dog feel emotionally grounded. Why do dogs prefer one person over another? Ever notice how some dogs seem to have a clear favorite human? It's not random. There are several reasons why your dog might develop a stronger bond with one person in the family. Early socialization plays a big role. Between birth and 6 months of age, puppies go through a crucial learning phase. During this time, their brains are like sponges, soaking up experiences and forming relationships that will shape how they interact with people later in life. If a puppy has more positive interactions with a particular person, they're likely to form a stronger connection with them. Quality time is another key factor. Dogs love people who dedicate time to them. Those who take them for walks, play with them, pet them, and speak to them with kindness. But it's not just about the amount of attention, it's how that attention is given. Dogs also associate people with positive experiences. If someone is the bringer of treats, fun playtime, or comforting cuddles, the bond will grow deeper. Why does your dog lick your wounds? Just like dogs seek emotional comfort by resting their head on your leg, they can also show concern in a rather unique way, licking your wounds. This behavior is rooted in instinct, emotion, and practicality, and dogs do it for 3 main reasons: care, cleaning, and instinct. First, they care about you. When they see you hurt, their instinct is to comfort and take care of you, just like they would for another member of their pack. Second, they're trying to clean the wound. In the wild, dogs lick their own injuries to remove dirt and debris. They're just doing what feels natural. And finally, it's a hardwired behavior. Licking wounds is simply part of their natural toolkit for survival. Now, here's where it gets tricky. While dog saliva does have some mild antibacterial properties, it also contains harmful bacteria that can cause serious infections. So, even though it's a sweet gesture, it's best not to let them do it. What should you do? Clean the wound properly, cover it, and gently distract your dog if they're persistent. Trust me, it's for everyone's benefit. Quick heads up, before we dive into the next point, here is something you'll love. Visit happydogsplace.com/gift to download a free guide with 7 homemade games to keep your dog happy at home. You'll discover fun, simple ways to keep your furry friend entertained and stress-free. Don't forget to check the description for the link. Why do dogs lick or bite their paws? Dogs have all kinds of quirky ways to express how they're feeling, and licking or biting their paws is one of them. Sometimes it's totally normal. They're just grooming or winding down. But if it becomes a habit, something else might be going on. Boredom alert! Dogs need both mental and physical stimulation to stay balanced. When they're bored, licking their paws can become a soothing activity to pass the time. Pain or injury. Small cuts, bug bites, or even a cracked nail can make them lick obsessively. Think of it as their version of applying a Band-Aid. Pesky parasites. Fleas, ticks, and other creepy crawlies causing itching can send your dog into a paw-licking frenzy. Arthritis or joint pain. Older dogs might lick their paws to soothe joint pain from arthritis. When should you worry? If the licking becomes constant or causes wounds, it's time for a vet visit. Always better to be safe than sorry. Why do dogs eat grass? Forget the myth that dogs only eat grass when they feel sick. Most of the time, it's just because they like the taste and texture. Simple as that. It's not even a dog-exclusive habit. Wolves eat grass too. Studies have shown that up to 70% of wolf poop contains grass, suggesting it's an instinctive behavior passed down from their ancestors. Dogs have a bit of an omnivorous side, and munching on grass is like adding a little salad to their meal. Now, if your dog is eating grass excessively, it might be due to a lack of fiber in their diet. Some dogs instinctively try to balance their diet this way. In these cases, adding more fiber to their meals can help reduce this behavior. It can also just be plain curiosity or boredom, especially in younger dogs that explore the world with their mouths. If your dog is eating grass compulsively or showing symptoms like frequent vomiting, lethargy, or diarrhea, be sure to consult your vet, and don't let your guard down. While grass itself isn't harmful, it's sometimes treated with chemicals that can be dangerous for your furry friend. Why do dogs bring you things when you get home? Ever wonder why your dog runs up to you with a toy in their mouth the moment you walk through the door? It's not random. What your dog is doing is channeling all that excitement of seeing you again into a single, focused action. It's almost as if they're thinking, "I'm so happy you're home, but I have no idea what to do with myself. Here, take this sock." But beyond managing their emotions, this behavior can have other meanings too. Sometimes it's a sign of affection, offering you their most prized toy as if it were a gift. Other times, it's their way of saying, "Let's play," especially if they drop the toy at your feet and wait for you to throw it. If your dog does this, respond with a pet or a little playtime. For them, it's a special way of saying, "I'm so happy you're home." A few minutes of your attention will make them happier than you can imagine. Now let's move on to another behavior your dog probably does every time you sit on the couch. Why does your dog sit on your feet? Picture this. You finally sit down on the couch to relax, and like magic, your dog plants themselves right on your feet. Sound familiar? This behavior might seem odd, but it makes total sense to your dog. Here's why. They do it for several reasons, but the main one is simple. They want to be close to you. Feeling the contact with your body gives them a sense of security, warmth, and comfort. It can also be their way of getting your attention. If every time they sit on your feet you talk to them or give them a pet, they'll quickly learn that it works, and they'll keep doing it. Some dogs also enjoy it to stay warm, especially on chilly days. And let's not forget their instinct. As puppies, they curl up with each other to conserve heat and feel protected. In moments of anxiety or stress, sitting on your feet gives them a huge sense of reassurance. If you notice excessive panting or nervous behavior, they might be seeking comfort and protection from you. Why do dogs shed so much fur? Shedding is totally normal for dogs. Their coat serves many purposes, like regulating body temperature and protecting their skin. Dogs shed for one simple reason. Old hair makes way for new growth. The most common factor? Seasonal shedding. Dogs with double coats like Labradors and Corgis experience heavy shedding in spring and fall to adjust to changing temperatures. In spring, they shed that thick winter coat to stay cooler for summer. Then in fall, they grow a heavier coat to prepare for the cold. But if your dog's shedding is excessive, it might be related to stress, allergies, parasites, or health issues like hormonal imbalances or nutrient deficiencies. Some breeds naturally shed more than others. For example, Siberian Huskies, German Shepherds, and Golden Retrievers have a double coat, so they need frequent brushing to manage the fluff explosion. On the other hand, breeds like the Poodle, Maltese, or Yorkshire Terrier shed very little. In the middle ground, you'll find breeds like the Beagle, French Bulldog, or Cocker Spaniel, which shed moderately and only need a good weekly brushing to keep their coat in check. And just like that, we've covered 12 quirky dog behaviors. But there is so much more to learn about your furry friend. If you're curious about what your dog's loneliness might look like, tap the video on your screen to discover 7 signs your dog might be feeling lonely. Trust me, you'll want to know these signs.